7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming soon. Snake River Manufacturing is developing a revolutionary new way to design and build a custom kayak trailer. This modular design lets you customize your trailer one piece at a time, allowing you to grow as you go.
You know, a lot of folks think gorillas can't read. But when the magazine's this good, even I had to subscribe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for episode 29 of the Kayak Cafe. This episode is also brought to you by Vibe Kayaks. Whether you're chasing the perfect catch or just craving some peace on the water, Vibe Kayaks is your ride to freedom. Built for all skill levels in any water, fresh, salty, or somewhere in between. Vibe delivers premium kayak performance without the drama or cost. From the ultra-versatile Shearwater 125 to the throw-and-go agility of the Makana 100 to the ultra-portable inflatables, every Vibe kayak is crafted to elevate your experience on the water. So gear up, get out there, and do what you do. Awesome. Well, so like I said, this episode is brought to you by Snake River Manufacturing. If you get an opportunity, please go to snakerivermanufacturing.us and see all of the beautiful things that Steve is doing to revolutionize the kayak trailer industry. Go to vibekayaks.com and pick yourself up a nice kayak. They have throw and goes to some competition ready Shearwater 125s. All right. So on this episode, we have someone that I've spoken to many times in many places. He is a great individual who is associated with a great company. On this episode, I have Wade Clements from YakAttack. And without further ado, hello, Wade.
Hey, Roy. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate the opportunity to be here on the show.
Awesome. Yes. I've had the opportunity to meet you several times in person, and every time I've been able to pick up a handful of stickers and see some great things. So for those that don't know you, if you wouldn't mind giving a brief, who is Wade Clements?
That's a loaded question, but no. My name is Wade Clements. I'm the current marketing coordinator for YakAttack. Very blessed to be in the position that I'm in. Started off there 4.5 years ago as our inventory and purchasing manager. Was kind of fed up in the role that I was currently in and reached out to Luther Cyphers, the founder of the YakAttack, via Facebook Messenger. Not having any idea that he would have a clue who I was. On the contrary, he'd seen my posts in bona fide groups and different things like that. But he was very eager to talk with me and brought me into a management role right away. So I was very lucky to get my feet in there the way that I did. I would have been happy doing anything at YakAttack. Honestly, it's a fun place to work. I can't think of anybody there that I don't consider my friend. 50, we range, throughout the year through the busy season, but 50, 60 employees, and everyone there is awesome to work with. But again, marketing coordinator. So I'm responsible for basically everything that you guys get to see that's public facing. Started kind of taking over our social media and everything. I'd say fall of 2022 is when it started. And then it was just, sharing the images and, kind of what Instagram used to be. And, late 2023, it turned into video, and it just started doing video every day. And people were a lot more responsive to that, and just the tutorials and just talking about the products. And it's been a roller coaster ride from there. I've got to do a lot of cool things.
Awesome. So I was through our conversations and listening to other things, you and I have something in common. I was an automotive technician for 23 years. So it's my understanding you were an automotive technician as well. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, a part of the automotive field. Yes.
Oh.
I grew up, fooling with cars, obviously, in the garage, messing with my own stuff, and auto servicing in high school was obviously my favorite class. but I was also an art student, and just the evolution of cars, it kind of started to look the same way with kayaks. But
Mm-hmm.
the mechanical side of everything was overrun with electronics and sensors and all that. And I moved into the auto body world with everything. I really wanted to get into, hey, Curtis. But you really wanted to get into custom paint and that kind of stuff. So I went to YakAttack, a popular auto body school. Did that for a year. Did collision refinishing, custom paint, custom fabrication, and came back home and just started that employment. Started in that career path that I did for 15 years. I did everything from take out the trash and sweep the floors up to manage a full production body shop at the end. And had a lot of fun doing it. The best part for me, I would say, was the customer service side of it, helping people in the body shop. Nobody that ever comes in a body shop is having a good day.
That's true.
There's a select few that want, a repaint or something like that. But most people, it's deer hits and collision isn't their fault. So everybody's having a crappy day, and to be able to turn that around for people and make it a positive experience was the best part of my job. But eventually I got burnt out and had to find something else. And at the time, kayak fishing was the escape.
Yes. When I was an automotive technician, it was sort of just the opposite. I was in the back, and we were just giving car after car after car. There was zero yay moments. There was no happy. So I'm a photographer, so I would use those moments to make up for the downs at work. So when you made the transition, was it because you were burnt out at the automotive industry?
Yeah, I mean, I really like what I did. I just wasn't liking where I was doing it. So I actually had another brief job between that and YakAttack. A week into leaving the body shop that I was with, a friend of mine that runs a very successful electrical contracting company reached out and offered me a job, and a very good job, and I couldn't turn it down. And I did that for 2 years, but slowly but surely, kayak fishing was taking over my life. The very first project that I was assigned to work on was the upfit of the building that YakAttack is currently in. And that's when I kind of first found out that YakAttack was coming back to Farmville. They'd previously been in 3 different smaller buildings occupying Burkeville, Virginia, which is from where I live now in Rice, Virginia. It's 10 minutes this way to Burkeville. It's 10 minutes to Farmville. So they weren't too far away, but they were coming back to Farmville, and I was like, man, I wish I'd have heard about that first. But inevitably, the job that I was doing, reconciling invoices and a lot of that stuff, working behind a desk, pushing papers, an office with no windows, I wasn't built for that. I was built for people and the outdoors, and I don't sit still well.
Yes. So when you got into the kayak fishing world, well, how did you get into that? What was the transition, or what was your first delve into kayak fishing?
So it started off, I mean, and I've said this in other podcasts, but I mean, I owe it to my wife, honestly. My wife and I, we've been married almost 13 years now. And when we were first dating, the first year we were dating, she took me up to her parents' place in a little town of Freeze, Virginia, which I know some people are pretty familiar with now. It's become a very, very awesome fishing destination. But her parents had a place up there, and first year we went up and we canoed it. I came back the next year with a borrowed kayak, and me being ADD, I was like, I could spend all day out here, but I need something to do while I'm doing it. And fishing was always, in my roots growing up. I mean, we used to ride my bicycle to the local pond here in town, here in the village, I guess. Rods in one hand, tackle box in another, and me and the local boys in the neighborhood, we fished all the time. But that was something to do to pass that time, just being out there in the current, in the river. And it took off. I did it for years and years and years, and had an old sit inside Dick's Sporting Goods style kayak, an ugly green turd of a kayak, and just started rubbing a hole in the bottom of the kayak underneath the seat where everything's molded in, and I patched it a few times, and it got to the point where I was stopping every 30 minutes to dump 5 gallons of water out of it, and so I had to buy a new kayak at that point. And I went to the local paddle shop, Appomattox River Company, and sitting right in the front of their warehouse was one of these new Bonafides. And so I kind of got the down low on that. I was actually looking at a wilderness kayak and almost pulled the trigger on an Old Town, but I kept coming back to that Bonafide design, the way it looked, just that forward-facing cathedral hull. I mean, I've never seen anything so badass in my life. So I ended up waiting for a demo day to get a discount on it because I'm cheap. But actually, I got out and paddled all the different models. I was going to go with the Bonafide RS 117 because it was in my price range, but settled on the SS 107 just for all the extra features, the high-low seating. And from there, my maiden voyage, my brother and I went out and did a 25-mile, 2-day, camping float fishing. And it's been on like Donkey Kong since then. Before I even took it out, the very first things I did was buy some YakAttack accessories. A couple pieces of the Mighty Met XL gear track, same ones. 7 years later, still on that kayak, holding strong. But I bought the gear track and 2 Omega Pro rod holders, and put them on the kayak. And like I said, it's been on since then.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask that question, but your wife messaged me and said that she likes to hear you give her credit. So I had to. No, I'm kidding. She's like, I know he says it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So when you went with the first time with her, was that moving water as well? Or was that
we were in the upper New River right there. It's a slower section from Freeze, just below Freeze Dam, which a lot of people, it's very recognizable nowadays with a lot of different groups of anglers, but just down from that is the park, and it's a 2-mile float down to the low water bridge, where Timmy Dixon, my friend, operates New River Outdoor Adventure Company.
Timmy's good people.
New River, something like that. Sorry, but
if he were listening, he could put it in the chat. It's on him.
Get it right, Wade.
So I've actually whitewatered the upper and the lower with Boy Scouts. I haven't taken a kayak down it because it looks like it's a. I watched the video of you and Kayak Kevin doing that. That was a
Most people see me on the New River. They're like, "Oh, you in the gorge?" And I'm like, "No, 100 so miles upriver. It still has its spots though. It still has some wild places." The section just down from Timmy's store, they call Double Shoals, and it's my favorite place in the world. If I could go fishing anywhere or just kayaking, it's there, because I know I can go down there, and 9 times out of 10, I'm the only person out there. Even local people, when I talk to them, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm headed down, down through the shoals from here, talking up there near the dam fishing," and they're like, "You're going there?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's." I don't know. I would never claim to be an expert fisherman. Like I can get out and I can catch fish and I have a good time doing it. But for me, I consider myself a better paddler, an adventurer. But yeah, running those rapids, if I catch one fish and run some rapids, I'm having a great day.
Yeah, we ran the rapids in the rafts. I couldn't imagine doing the kayak. I mean, you and I are built a little different. I've got you on maybe a couple pounds. But when I went on the whitewater rafting trip, I was in a boat with about 6 other people, and they were all Eagle Scouts, and I was the biggest person in the kayak. And when we went down the rapids, they had to put me down first so I wouldn't get launched. So that was fun, dropping 6 feet sideways on every single drop. Yeah. So I can only imagine.
I still want to do that. That's something I've never done. Is the whitewater rafting down the gorge?
Oh,
we went out of I probably should just do it in a kayak, honestly. I'm still figuring out the whole skirted sit inside side of things. I had to do it for certification, the instructor
Mhm.
certifications that some of us have been pursuing. But yeah.
So let me ask you about that real quick. We'll touch on that because I saw you guys doing the certification. What do you recommend that someone who's just a everyday angler take the certification
Not getting the instructor
or the
certification, no,
class?
but I mean, but taking the course and
Hmm.
learning paddle technique and reentry and some of the real key elements to being in a kayak. Sorry, sirens going down the street. That's the dogs.
That's all right.
That's
We're
a blue
puppy
heeler. So
friendly.
they start howling.
There we go.
There she is. Storm.
Just letting us know.
Yeah.
Intruders.
Yep.
No cops
She's
gonna get you.
howling
Police
at
are coming.
howling at the sirens. But no, I think it's very important. It's something that people really take for granted with kayak fishing.
Yeah.
It seems easy, right? Like I'm not taking any risks. I don't need to wear my life jacket. I'm on a flat lake. But we take more risks than most people out there.
Hmm.
Sorry, is that as loud on your side as it is on my side?
I've got it toned down a little bit, but it's not bad.
But
I'm sure someone somewhere is cringing. But for me, I have a dog that barks when every time something moves. So I'm just like,
I got one here laying at my feet that's unfazed, and another one that's howling at the sirens. But no, it's one of those things with kayak fishing that we really take for granted, and a lot of people do. It seems so easy. You're not going out doing whitewater kayaking where you'd expect to, hire an outfitter and get proper instruction leading into it. But we go out there and we take a lot of weight. We overload our kayaks. We take a lot of entanglement hazards out there with us from rods and hooks, and you name it.
Mhm.
But the biggest thing I think people don't practice enough is that re-entry into a kayak. Getting out there, flipping it over, flipping it back, and crawling back inside. And then the other one is just not wearing a life jacket. And I've heard too many times, oh, it's too hot. Oh, I can swim just fine. That doesn't matter. When your kayak is away from you and it's literally strapped to the seat of your kayak or in a hatch somewhere where you can't get to it. So some of those things are key. But paddle technique was a big one for me. I didn't realize how many bad habits that I had formed over the years doing it myself. But to fishing, it's almost crucial. If you're fishing around structures and docks and things like that, a quick paddle stroke to change the course correct just a little bit could be vital to you landing a fish in a lot of cases. So there's a lot of benefits to taking a course like that.
Because I also see a lot of people that they're reliant on their motors. If the motor dies, they have little to no paddle experience. And I grew up without a motor, and I was rowing and paddling John boats, so I can make boats move. I wouldn't say I have the most proper technique, but I will get where I want to go. So
I got you.
But awesome. Yeah, when we did the whitewater rafting on the James to your people can swim, they were in full kit. They had the full vest, the helmets, everything, and we had to stop in one of the eddy pools. And they didn't want to tell us what was going on, but someone who was kayaking up ahead of us was trapped under the edge of a rock, and they were all going down to basically pry him out. And they were proficient at what they were doing. They had all their PPE, and they just hit that rock wrong, and it swept them under. So, I can swim doesn't mean anything if you're.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of undercut rocks like that. In any rapid, any shoal system, any system of rapids. One of the scary things about downtown Richmond, Virginia, one of the biggest killers up there is foot entrapment. And the water could be waist deep or even lower. But eventually that current is going to fold you over like a blade of grass. And, you can fight it as long as you want. But, that foot entrapment is no joke.
Yeah. That was the biggest fear for us, is falling out.
Nose up, toes up.
Nose up, toes up. Exactly. I was like, there's a saying they told us, and I can't remember it. But nose up, toes up.
Nose up, toes up. Every time that I've done downtown Richmond, like I've gone swimming. It's if you're pursuing a whitewater, like somebody told me one time, you're just in between swims. If you're out there pushing it hard, you're gonna go swimming eventually. and knowing the right things to do really matter.
So when you transition from your automotive to the electrical into YakAttack, do you feel that because when you went to YakAttack, you were the inventory specialist, right?
Yeah,
So,
inventory and purchasing manager.
okay, so you didn't really go into anything like design work or do you have any input at all? We like walking by and see something you're like, that'd be good if it had.
Well,
Like,
not at
threads.
first,
Mm-hmm.
but just being one of the avid kayakers in the building,
Mm-hmm.
I think I started in February, and by March, I got to go on one of my first photo shoots just because I was an angler. And so I got to experience it right away. And then, later when we were doing the Black Pack Pro project, I mean, I got to, lend, just my thoughts on some of that stuff. What's funny is, the initial marketing photography with the Black Pack Pro, they were all 3D printed parts. And we were limited at the time. We had like 1 or 2 3D printers and one designer, one full-time designer, Joey Pruitt. And some of those parts, I mean, they were printed in 2 pieces, the 16-inch panels, because that's how big the printer bed was. And so we actually glued, bondoed. Well, I, bondoed and finished and painted, even, texture painted, a lot of that stuff to pull the photos off for the marketing shoot. Because, with lead times, with packaging and all that stuff, you have to get that out,
Right.
months in advance on some of that stuff. The original photos of the 1616 Black Pack Pro are taken from an angle. It's because there were only 2 panels. So that's one area where I got to lend that body shop expertise and custom paint expertise, into the photography. And I've had to do it on a few other things, but we're getting better the way we do things, and it's coming along. So haven't had to do any body work or spray paint in a while.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I know for food photography, for syrup we use oil, so gets that nice thick run for you. So I get the corners and the bondo. So when did you make the when you made the transition from the inventory end of it to marketing? Did you have any marketing experience or before that, or just
Zero.
on the job? On the
Zero.
job.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously at that point, John Hipsher and I, our former marketing manager, we were very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew he was looking for somebody, and I think they were actually advertising for somebody. And I approached him just out of curiosity, not any interest for myself at all. What they were looking for, so maybe I could put the word out. And John instantly said to me, "I'll take you in a second." And I was like, "Whoa, pump the brakes. I don't know anything about marketing." I forget how many weeks it was after that. At this point I'd been at YakAttack for a year and a half, and it was July of 22 that Luther approached me and was like, "Hey, I think I've got a better spot for you." And we talked about it. And I told Luther, I said, "Look, man, I don't know anything about this. I have no experience in marketing." And he said, "Wade, when I started YakAttack, I didn't have any experience in this. But I've got faith in you." And I'll tell you, to come into that company as a Luther fanboy, just the work that he had done with YakAttack and then Bonafide Kayaks, and just eating all that up, to him to support me the way that he has, did then and does now, it's unreal. I mean, he's been one of my biggest cheerleaders, second to my wife. But yeah, without him and John and their help, I wouldn't be here right now.
Now, do you find, so I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do is marketing. I love the making of the flyers or the media or talking to people. I love that. It fills my missing component from the automotive industry. Do you feel that marketing is your final, you found your home?
I mean, I guess you could say that. Never
No.
did I expect to be the guy in front of the camera. Nor was that even a desire. It just kind of happened. It's, I mean, maybe even back to some of the customer service stuff in the automotive field. I actually did some trade shows with a breeder company. If you're familiar with the Fish and Pig in Farmville, there's one out in Norfolk out your way now. Before they even opened their first restaurant, I was doing trade shows with them for their breeder business. So, I mean, I found that talking to people about something you're passionate about, something you know well, it's very easy to do. I mean, it doesn't take a degree or anything like that, just to be honest and passionate about what you're doing. It just kind of came. And the editing stuff, I guess got better along the way. And I don't sit for 6 hours and edit videos like I used to, just for time's
You
sake.
got that microphone next level.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was a big necessity. And from there, got a new GoPro, and Lord, I have so much GoPro footage I never get to go through. It's just you're busy a lot of the times, but overall it's awesome. I'm blessed. That's all I can say. I'm the luckiest kayak angler in the country.
This is from Curtis. Thank you for doing an in-depth look at what was released at ICAST of all the offerings. What are you most excited about in-depth, Wade? And how about you, Roy? I know what I like. I like the cart, the flip around. That I saw that and I was like, that's amazing. Because I have a new canoe completely loaded, and I went to go put it on a cart on a hill, and everything was going every which way that it wasn't supposed to. So, is there one that we'll touch that if you want to about? Is there anything that you are excited about?
I mean, the cart is definitely a great one. I can hit on that one real quick. I mean, actually, it's one of the ones for future video to get into. The comment section has been pretty rough, and it's not untrue, some of the statements, but I mean, it's for a different person. It's for a different style kayak. If you have a fully loaded tournament rig and 12 standing rods, obviously a traditional kayak cart is going to be the one for you. But this project has actually been in development for a while. We kind of put it to the side when the other kayak carts launched and let them do their thing. But we've breathed life back into it. It's a great option for people that struggle to load that kayak. Figuring out that geometry and picking that kayak up, 2.5, 3 foot in the air to set it just right and hope you got it right on the first try. It takes all that guesswork out. I mean, it's super simple. It just flips right around under it. And unlike similar style, landing gear, it doesn't put the stress on the top of the kayak frame or the track, the hull itself. I mean, that's the problem we were out to solve with that. Everything, it pivots right there on that pivot point on the track, super easy, and all the weight just sits right on the axle itself. Now that axle is telescoping, so you can adjust it to the width of your kayak, but that basically doubles the integrity of the extrusion underneath of it. So the weight capacity is out of this world. I mean, we rate the other ones at 300 to 400 pounds. But this could do, double that. But again, you have your downsides. I mean, it solves problems, but there are other ones there. You obviously can't flip it around while you have standing rods. But I mean, if you're transporting your kayak, you lay your rods down in your deck. It doesn't center under the kayak as well. As some of the other ones. So I mean, everything has its it's pros and its cons, but this definitely solves problems for other people where other kayak carts were a struggle. So very interested to see what this one does and everything. But one of the ones I'm most excited about, I think, is probably the anchor reel. And that's been one on our list for many years. It was hard to do when we only had Joey as the single designer, but over the past, I think 2 years, a little over 2 years now, we brought in 3 other awesome designers. And so that team of 4 has just been rocking stuff out. And we've been trying to pick up on as much as we can and keep rocking out products. But the anchor reel has been one there for a long time, and I'm excited about the different aspects of it that we've been able to bring to it, and solve a few problems that were there with that one. So that's the one that I will definitely be using. Get ready to take a vacation next week to back to the New River with one of those RVRs with the dual anchor system on that, and really give it a test run and see what it's all about.
Now, do you use a ball anchor? Or do you do chain, or because I know, like in the river, like I think the big thing would be getting hung up. Would it not be?
Absolutely, yes. I've had to cut an anchor or two. Some of the mushroom style is what I've used in the past, and I've hung several of those, and I'm talking swimming 360s around this thing, pulling in every direction, trying to unwedge it and unable to do so. But they all have that potential.
Yeah.
Unlike a drag chain where it's just to slow your momentum in that current, your other balls are there. They're made to stop you, and a lot of the jagged, riverbed, those rocks, at least what I'm used to seeing, it's going to find a hole to fall into, and so that you always take that risk. But
yeah, I've used every type of anchor, and I think I've hung every type of anchor. So yeah, I've been out fishing with people on the bay, and they bought a brand new $200 anchor for their big boat, and it's still at the bottom of the ocean, or the bay, I should say. So yeah, that's one of the products I saw, and I was like, man, that's cool. And I volunteer with the Heroes on the Water a lot, and I was like, man, a lot of those people that are having struggles getting it to and from. I've watched people try to put their kayak on a cart, all of the carts, and they struggle. And I watched that flip around, and this is a great thing. Like you said, it wouldn't fit for everybody, or you'd have to pull your cart off, or you pull your pack off, flip it around, put the pack back on. But
well, there's some design built into those issues as well. That quick connectivity, right there, and that pivot point. You throw a latch, you can pop it off and work it around. If that's a problem. I mean, that's one of the ones, the issues we approached or tried to solve, just looking at stern mounted motors, for that kind of design. So it'll still work for that, for a stern mounted motor to flip it out under with ease, but you'd have to disconnect it and work it around. What's up, Chuck Earls?
Better late than never.
Yeah.
That's his license plate. Awesome. Well, so we're about halfway through, and about the halfway point. Kayak Coffee has sponsored a section where some people have asked some questions, and they're entered in the Kayak Coffee monthly giveaway by doing so. So we have our first question is from Phil. And Phil says, which of the new YakAttack products are on your must-have list? So I think we just covered that with the crank, unless there's something else.
Well, I mean, there's the drop shot anchor reel that we already talked about, but I'm eager to get out there and play around with the crossbar, and not in a way that most people are used to seeing with with graphs and everything all over it, but just one of those park and pole rotor grips I use to secure my net on the front of the deck, and a rod stager, and use it for different things like that. You'll see that on the my river build next week as well.
You could probably run a park and pole off of it too with one of the swing outs.
Yeah.
Second question, what kayak do you personally use to fish, if any?
So personally, I own two bona fide SS107s that I've been beating rivers to pieces with for years now. I love them, but I will get in anything. I'm sorry to use a vulgar term, but I'm a kayak whore, and I'm happy to get out there at anything. I've had a lot of fun in old towns in certain situations, and the New Canoe Unlimited. That's the boat when I take the dogs out down the New River. Like, that's the one we're in to hold them. And I mean, there's so many great designs out there. It's hard to pick just one. But here recently, Vibe, I give them a shout out since they're one of the sponsors. Had some awesome time in one of the Macanas on our trip to British Columbia. I mean, we were out in the ocean, and I'm talking the tidal swells, the incoming tide. I mean, just watching the other guys disappear out there in 10-foot boats was unreal, and I never felt unstable at all. So I talked to them, and they sent me out one, and I immediately took it to the river. and it's performed great out there too. I've been in some other kayaks that lack a little secondary stability.
Mm-hmm.
You lean a little bit and then it just keeps going. But that's been a fun kayak too. So I've had a couple of days in that one, so I'm enjoying that. But
yeah, we'll touch on that trip a little bit too, because that was a blast. All right, this is from Steve Burge. Phil's last question is, what sonar do you run?
Well, I'm a river guy, so there's no point in beating a transducer senseless going down the river doing the things that I do. So I don't run a lot of sonar. Once or twice a year, depending on where I'm at. I ran it a little bit in Niagara, but again, those are just things that we've had at the shop. I really couldn't give a favorite on stuff like that. I'm not familiar enough with it. I'm an instinct and just kind of looking for rocks, looking for current seams, and using that instinct to find fish.
Reading the water.
Doesn't always work, but hey, we try.
All right, Steve, with the kayak fishing field becoming more and more popular, do you see innovation leveling out, or will there be an uptick in creative design?
Well, again, I'm a naturalist at heart, and I like a simpler setup. I take more stuff out with me than normal, just for marketing purposes. But I definitely feel like innovation is going to continue to soar. The trend, the biggest trend, the more serious I've gotten this, has obviously been electronics and motors, and that's going to continue. I have no doubt that's going to continue. With FluxJet, for example, winning Best in Show at ICAST this year with that jet drive kayak. Like, that's insane. I mean, that's just more innovation coming to the scene, and it's only going to continue. The more your big marine companies, I would say, like, really start dipping their foot into the kayak scene, like Garmin did this year with the motor. And you'll continue to see more of that, I think, and and hopefully be a more competitive market. But I think innovation will continue to soar until we're got the George Jetson thing over top of the surface of the water fishing. I hope it doesn't get to that. You'll always find me with my butt in a kayak, but I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, we're overdue for a hover kayak.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, it's a long way from where it started, but to each their own. I mean, I'm a naturalist, and a lot of people will swear by that. Your grassroots folks all day long. But I mean, the growth in kayak fishing and that innovation has really brought in an entirely new consumer market. There's not everybody can get out there and paddle their butt off all day on a big lake. So having that advantage of a motor is crucial just to get some people out there. And I mean, that's great.
Yeah. So his next question is, in your opinion, what is the next frontier in kayak fishing? I think I
covered it with the George Jetson.
The George Jetson. Yeah. The FluxJet, I think, is from automotive. Electrical automotive was my thing. And I spoke to them at FluxJet, and they were talking about all of the inner workings of their electrical system and the way it has the step downs to accept any motor. And then they have the thermal, they spend a lot of time. So I think that someone coming into the industry that's doing that, and then, like you guys, you have the team that's always innovating. You've got them in a room locked up. So I've heard. I'm just saying, coming up with ideas.
They're locked in a room with me, unfortunately for them.
So, but yeah, I think that was a wake-up call. And then, like you said, the motors that were dropped, like yours and the one from Garmin, you guys are coming out with some things. So
yeah, and props to Garmin on that motor. I mean, for winning that. I mean, I know we were in the competing category with them, but we walked down that road of electronic kayak propulsion. We started with in the direction, obviously, with that Hobie drive. But we talked, we've covered the field of everything else out there. And we had a lot of talk about GPS in a stern mounted motor. But what does that look like? How does that move the kayak? I mean, is it is it unstable because it's pushing from the rear in current? But, you know, if we could put GPS in the stern mounted motor, like we demolished the field. And, you know, Joey immediately got into like wireless steering and all that stuff. And then, you know, a week before ICAST, burst the bubble. Garmin was right on top of it. And they did a fantastic job. It's a great looking motor, you know?
Yeah. I will say, as an automotive technician who sees things like that, I'm thinking to myself, when it breaks, what happens? That's the only thing in my mind when I see like the wireless foot stuff. For me, my batteries would die in the middle of the lake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we're all aware, that's one of the disadvantages to technology is that technology isn't built as well as the things of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a shelf life, and so I mean, things like that will give out. But I mean, in the meantime, they look fun to play with. I didn't get a chance to get in that boat and test it out on the water day.
Mm-hmm.
I was too busy talking to people about, you know, ours and goofing off the rest of the time.
Heck yeah. Last one from Steve. If you could design or implement one thing, which you could, in today's market for kayak fishing, what would it be? So, like, if you could do it yourself, what would you like to see?
So I kind of did that a year ago. Actually, it's a very small, insignificant product, but I you know, we talked about cars and all that, and I'm not a big fan of newer cars. So the newest vehicle that I've ever owned, my current daily driver, I've got a 93 Wrangler soft top, 5-speed. But my old truck, which was an 89 Toyota pickup, I could at least lock that when I went out and, you know, set out on the river and left it on a riverbank somewhere in a parking lot. But couldn't do that with a soft top Jeep. No point in locking it. I don't want to buy a new soft top. So my everyday carry pistol, I started bringing it with me, and it would end up in the bottom of the black pack. So I got with our designer, Ryan, who's responsible for the track pack and a few other, the short stack and some other awesome products. I was like, look, this is what I'm looking for. Can you, you know, and he knocked it out first try. And that's where we came up with that belt loop, the gridlock belt loop adapter. It's a simple, it's a cheap, very simple product, but it solved a problem that I had and a lot others for other people, for that tool storage and just that ability to make it yours. So that's literally one that I personally had an issue. Talked to the designer and they knocked it out first try, and I got to see something. I mean, it's a simple thing, but that one meant a lot to me. And I mean, I've had some influence on some other things that have been really cool that have come out, but I can't take credit for those. But I don't know. I haven't met the next obstacle yet, I guess. I'm sure something will come along here soon, and an idea will brew for like, okay, forget this $300 product. Like, I need another $5, you know, screw on accessory to solve this issue. And I mean, like wire management and some of that other stuff, it, you know, comes into play a lot. You know, something that might be track mounted. I mean, we that's been beat around. But I don't know who. Again, the direction of the sport will determine that, or maybe one bad day on the river.
That's what he uses his belt loop for, holster. Yep.
I give a shout out to Curtis, man. Like, I haven't known him. We don't even know each other personally, but this guy is awesome. Like like, you know, I haven't known, like I said, don't know him long, don't know where he came from, but he's been a huge supporter. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Comments and
somebody owes you a bona fide hat.
I'll always take one.
Can't turn on a good hat.
So I posted on Facebook, Bonafide, they had this awesome team hat that you only got if you were on the team. But when I was doing our purchasing stuff, working with them, I was able to get one of those hats, black with the red bill. It's the hat I'm wearing in my Facebook profile picture. And then my loving dog here laying at my feet, she chewed it up. And I put a post on Facebook, and then Walton surprised me at ICAST a couple years ago with that hat, and literally made my week. I tried to keep it as clean as I could for 2 years, but it's, you know, that the black has turned brown, and sweat stains all in it just from wearing it. So yeah, I'd love to get my hands on another one if one's floating.
Wink, wink, Walton. All right, so let's delve into some of the products that you guys have. It seems like you guys come out with a new product like almost seemingly every other week. Like you guys are just innovating your butts off. It's kind of crazy. It's impressive. And what I don't like about it is everything that you show I need.
Right.
Or
We're
want.
solving those problems you didn't know you had.
Yeah. So,
but the list of things that you haven't seen is much longer, my friend.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Because I know how it is. Like from a creative standpoint, I own 56 domains of ideas I want to build in the future. And I'm just doing what I'm doing. If you had a complete business like you have, you're probably rejecting 10 to 1, I would, or more.
I mean, again, we've had projects that have been, on the slate for years, like the anchor reel or that kayak cart that stole the show at ICAST. Honestly, over the motor, the wheelie bar that's been sitting and collecting dust for a little while. But one thing that we do every year that I think really makes the company, above all, it's the people. But we pull the people together. Our design engineers, our director of production, and the CEO and Luther. And every year we have what we call a design summit. So for 3 or 4 days, we'll lock ourselves away somewhere. Somewhere, whether it's a cabin on a lake somewhere, and I mean we'll eat good, we'll have some fun, but all day long, I mean it's like work. We lock ourselves away from 9 to 5, and we hammer through the angler's journey with giant Post-its up on the wall. Like what do they do the night before they're getting ready? What do they do the day that they're loading their kayak and heading to the ramp? What are they doing while they're fishing? What do they do when they get home and they pack their stuff away, and try to really wrap our heads around that and meet the needs. There's a ton of stuff out there that, I mean, we haven't touched. I mean, things that we want to touch, things that are out of our reach, one of which for a long time was those dry bags, and we got a lot of heat for sourcing those products, but I'm over the moon with them. I mean, I've used a lot of dry bags, and they're some of the best I've ever used. I mean, down to that that air valve feature. I've never used another dry bag that has that feature. Oh, and that backpack. Yes.
Yeah. I love the backpack. I love the fact that I love the fact that it's got the laptop case.
Outdoor day at ICAST for the first time ever. It was terrible weather, and it was fantastic. It's usually so hot. It is ridiculous out there. But it rained all day. And anybody that stopped by the booth at Outdoor Day could literally see my backpack there sitting in the nose of that RVR 119 in the gap between our two pop-up tents with water dripping on it all day long with my electronics, my laptop, everything inside of it.
Right.
Sat out there in the rain all day long. It was just fine. That backpack has been a fantastic thing. I'm really proud of the soft goods that we put out this year. Honestly, I mean, it's some of those things that just aren't done stateside anymore.
Right.
And I mean, everybody knows that you can get junk overseas, but you can get really, really nice things done too. I mean, there's some fantastic factories, and we're it's a pleasure to partner with the right people and really put some good things out there like that. So that's been another step, in this evolution of the things that we've done is stepping into the things that we can't do in house. But, as we talked about earlier, Dave and Luther's interview during ICAST, if we can do it, I guarantee you we are going to do it in Farmville, Virginia, but some things are out of reach, within the States, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think there's very few companies in the US or in the world that don't get something from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But also on this, I have the retractor.
Yeah,
I absolutely love.
That's another one. That's another one that I thought, and I'm like, all right, we're the cheap retractor, big whoop. what do we? Gosh, I love that thing. I mean,
It's got
the
some
old
power.
retractors, the T-Force retract or T-Rain retractors that we still do.
Mhm.
I mean, they're great as a track mounted option, but if track is limited, that clip on thing, man, I'm using it everywhere. Even down to my braid scissors inside my PFD pocket. But I mean, just great little things that you didn't know how much you needed until it really changes your time out on the water. And that's at the end of the day, that's what YakAttack's here to do. Do you need all the stuff that we make to go out and
Yes.
have fun kayak fishing? Absolutely not. You need a
Yes.
kayak, you need a fishing pole, a paddle, and a PFD, and go have fun. But, the things that we do really make it, more manageable and better for you at the end of the day. I'd say overall, what we really do at YakAttack is small space organization.
Mhm.
You have a limited amount of room there, and to have your gear in the right place and know that it's secure, it's dry, you're not going to lose it. Keeping things organized, that's what makes what we do at YakAttack awesome.
Yeah, I still think with a solo stack, you should have a briefcase handle on it, so I could put a foam in it.
Like I said, we're a lot of things in the works that you haven't seen yet.
I'm pretty sure. So, just looking at the site, I mean, there's like tons of things on there, and I know that you always come on and you do your videos, which are amazing. And I mean, I will tell you
Thanks.
from where you started, they were good, to where you are now. It's almost like production level. You've got great lighting, great audio. I mean,
Really?
yeah, you're killing it.
You're too nice, Roy.
I'm saying, I'm gonna give credit watching what I've seen, the growth, because I watched them early
I
on.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I was like,
There's not much to it. I mean, honestly, most of the time
Give it
I'm
away.
not a I don't like crowds. I'm a bit of a
Mhm.
recluse a lot of times. I mean, if I'm around my friends, I'm gonna have a good time and have fun. But you know,
Mhm. Yeah, I don't
the
like a lot
recording
of.
part, it's easy. I go into the little room by myself most of the time, and it's just me and a camera. If you could only see the outtakes, the girls in the customer service office get to hear a lot of that through the wall, and I can hear them giggling back at me. But but no, it's just nowadays. Like I said, I don't do as much of the editing that I used to do.
Mhm.
Spending hours here, literally in the chair that I'm sitting in right now at home. I'd come home every night and edit for hours, and really, that got to be a problem. Taking time away from my family. So now it's pretty short. You get a one take in a lot of situations. There's one take with a quick little edit and a YakAttack logo at the end, and I'm glad people like that. I mean, it's a lot easier on me. I do miss doing the fun ones though. What I got to call just kayak fishing music videos, where
Mhm.
it's all the scenes from the day out on the river, with a good song going on in the background. Like those are my favorite to
Little
make.
montage.
Yeah, so those are fun.
So I tell you, one of my favorite things that you make is the RotoGrip phone holder. I absolutely love that thing, and that seems to be. Is that still a hot product for you guys? Just
Oh yeah, it's doing great. I mean, it you know was fantastic when it first launched. It's still doing really good. We're coming up on almost a year since its release. It'll be August 12th since the release. It won product of the I guess accessory of the year
Mhm.
for the Kayak Angler magazine and Paddling magazine awards. So it was voted best accessory for 2025, and it's proved that it's done really good.
So, do you guys have any plans to make other mounts for the motor that you launched at ICAST?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I saw it and I was
Um,
like, that'd be cool if they made the mount to go through the stern, and then it could just be. I could use it on my new canoe.
yeah. So that Hobie drive was is just the first touch on this. Was the
Mhm.
first real prototype into this. And I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this at this point. I mean, there's no secret. All the rumors got around that we looked at Hobie, months and months and months ago. A lot of other people did too.
Mhm.
But that was kind of the inspiration. But also, I mean, that 180 drive is one of the most popular, tournament rigs out there, in the market right now, with the exception of the people that have upgraded to the 360. But that 180 drive is a very popular, whether it's the PA 12 or 14, and also one of the most widely distributed kayak brands in the world. So I mean that was just the first step into those waters with kayak propulsion, but the sky is the limit from there. Our hope is to our plan is to adapt that pod drive into so many more applications. I think the most requested I saw reading comments throughout the week of ICAST was Old Towns, which they've got a great great boat there with the Autopilot series. But for the people that want to adapt that pedal drive or anything else like that with that drop-in motor, like that's the plan. Bona fide pod drives, native pod drives. Actually, the current model will work with your Vibes and your Hoodoos, and
right.
I think Pelican runs the fin drive as well. So yeah, a lot of other kayak models will work with that current drive system as well. I'm excited to get one. We got a little tweak in on the housing where it drops in. Again, we made it around the Hobie, and so it's a little tight right now in the Vibe. So we plan to take some of that meat out. I'm excited to drop it in that little 10-foot Makana and see what it'll do. If it's pushing one of the biggest, heaviest boats on the market, being that PA 12 or that PA 14. At 4.3 miles an hour. I mean, I'm excited to see how that little Makana is going to scoot, or even some of the inflatables. Vibes got their Uptown, and Hobie just released that iTrek angler. So see what those things do. They're already kind of on plane. So to put a little speed behind that, those boats ought to scoot really, really nice as well. But and we're still working on getting more power out of that motor. The model that we showed at ICAST was 34-pound thrust. And again, to push that Hobie at 4.2 to 4.3 miles an hour is, I think, right on par with Autopilot and some of those other boats out there that are like that. So it's very exciting. We've got a lot of things we want to do, and I mean, I would look for it to end up in bow mount and stern mount and everything. Again, like everything else, we've got some awesome minds behind YakAttack and some serious kayak anglers. And so, we want to just continue to contribute, basically, and I think we're in a big enough market for where there's enough room for everybody. I mean, there's one of the comments I saw was like, hey, you got no business being in the motor game, leave it to Torquedo and Newport to hash out. I'm like, well, you forgot about Motor Guide, you forgot about Minn Kota and Garmin and Lowrance and Power Pole and everybody else in there too. So I mean, it's a lot of people are doing a lot of really cool things out there, and we just want to contribute with the best way.
Throw your hat in the ring,
right? So
yeah, I think that it's a great design. I think that it's going to be good for you guys. You have tons and tons of product. I know that, like you said, they're always designing, and they're going to come out with some good stuff. So,
Josh.
Yeah, Josh is good people as well.
He
says hello. I think we've covered we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. I think we covered a lot of stuff. I want to say I took you the multi-flex seat cushion to Heroes on the Water event, and everyone that sat on it was like not wanting to give it back. So it's a very comfortable cushion. I love that thing.
Yeah, we really saw that on that British Columbia trip. Definitely made some believers out there. We outfitted the lodge with 6 kayaks, but there were 14 of us there. So there were other boats around, but there were only 6 cushions. So if you didn't get out early enough in the morning to get a cushion, you regretted it the next day. But Chad from Hookup Baits on the USA saltwater kayak fishing team. I think his was one of my favorites. You know, just how much of a game changer that was for him. I mean, I wasn't out there every day with those guys. I mean, I had a rough week starting into it, just with air travel and everything. Drinking apple juice. Okay. It's my favorite.
It's his favorite.
But yeah, that seat cushion has been an awesome thing. And, you know, again, hate aside on that one, I think we have a very different, very awesome product. It's the cushion material for me that is the biggest thing. I mean, the material we found, yeah, again, that was sourced overseas, but it's unreal. How comfortable and springy it is, and breathable. Water runs right through it. You know, no more wet cushions in the morning when you launch. It's
when I looked at it, I was like, this isn't going to hold me. And then I sat on it, I was like, I'm impressed. Because, you know, like we discussed, I'm a bigger guy. But it was like perfectly comfortable. And so.
Yeah. Well, you being a bigger guy, which firmness did you go with?
I've got it in the car. I think it's a medium. What's the?
It was the soft to medium and then the medium to firm.
I think it's the soft to medium, if I remember correctly.
Got you. Yeah, that's my favorite, and that's one of the ones that we've been trying to answer for people. Mm-hmm. And so I had to make a Goldilocks post.
Yeah,
you know, it's some like it firm, some like a firm pillow, some like a soft pillow. So it's really up to the user's choice. I mean, I like the softer version. I think some of the other guys did up there as well. I think that's all I really took. But I know some smaller guys. Mike McKinstry liked wanted the firm version over the other option. But again, it's user preference. I mean, back to the mattress thing. Like, I like a soft mattress. My wife likes a firm mattress, so I sleep on a firm mattress. But
mm-hmm. That's the way it is.
Sorry, I had to sneak that one in there.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
So back to your trip. I mean, when you went on your trip, did you paddle? Did you have a motor? Did you?
So yeah, we had the Bixby motors out there. Keith at Kayak Angler Magazine set the whole trip up. I mean, he is one of the nicest guys and best networkers I think I've ever met in my life. So he worked with Vibe. Vibe brought in the kayaks. Bixby supplied the motors, and we supplied all the gear for the kayaks. And we got an awesome group of people up there, from the different manufacturer representatives, but Jeff and Paul, the aggressively average anglers that need a shorter name because that's so long to say. Just kind of call them the AAA boys now. But but those guys, and Darren Wendell, Trevor Powell, I mean, just amazing group of guys that we had up there. I know I'm leaving people out. It's not intentional. But
I've been seeing
we had a really good time, and it was an out of this world experience for all of us. It was for most of us. Trevor's a West Coast guy, and Chad Gearlick as well. But for some of us guys, I think I probably had the farthest travel coming from Central Virginia. I mean, I literally traveled across a continent. Paul and Jeff came from Michigan, and Austin Hoover from Alabama, and all over the place. What is that?
You own the specs on your bed from your spare room.
Yeah. He was raving about the spare bedroom mattress while we're at it, but I mean, yeah, we crossed a continent to get to this, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I mean, I could only compare it to the Appalachian Mountains flooded with salt water. I mean, you just have these beautiful old growth forest mountains just popping out of the ocean. It's insane. I mean, one of the pictures that I posted early on, I think one of my favorite ones was of Trevor Powell. And it's probably the best photograph I will ever take of him holding that lingcod on that inflatable Vibe Uptown. But I didn't do anything. It was the background, the overcast day, the lighting was great. Like, it's just the scenery looks AI generated. The place was so incredible. So, I mean, if anybody's looking for a real adventure, I would highly recommend checking out Sea Otter Lodge. It's off the coast of Vancouver Island, off the west coast, in this little island chain out there. But I mean, the fishing was great. Sea otters everywhere. I wasn't out the day that they were out, where they all had the whale blow up beside them. But we were all hoping for some orcas to show themselves, and that never happened. So I have to go back, I guess, to get that one.
You have to.
But the fish were they're ugly from what I'm used to. Some ugly fish, but so much fun. I mean, from flounder and lingcod to cabezon, something I never even heard of before. We were all hoping for halibut. Nobody picked up a halibut. Even the lodge owners were surprised by that one. I was hoping for one of those big halibut blankets to pull up over me for a picture, in the kayak, great big old thing. But I don't know. I think I might have had one on. I thought I was hung on a rock for a little while. I mean, we were out miles out. It would go from 30 feet to 60 feet to 100 feet. Just, basically the mountains we were floating over top of, under the water surface. But I got one point where I thought I was hung up, and then out of nowhere, the rod started, just dipping and pulling a little drag. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that was maybe just a giant halibut that suction cupped himself to the floor as soon as I started pulling on him. So I'm going to take that as a win. And some
of those could be as big as the kayak. I mean, I've seen some large halibut.
I mean, 100-pound halibut.
Mm-hmm.
Wade might not have come back from the Pacific if I'd actually tried to get something like that in the boat.
Somebody come pick me up.
That's what I went for. But now we had a chase boat. The lodge owners, they come out and check on us every now and then and pick up fish and all that. We brought fish home. They had a place up there that processed the fish, and I brought it back on as a checked bag and brought it back home. And having the longest travel, some of the guys theirs got back frozen. Mine wasn't completely frozen still. It was a little thawed, but put it back in the freezer at 4 a.m. when I finally got home, and so far so good. What I've eaten has been fantastic. If you haven't had lingcod, I highly recommend it.
Maybe one day I'll get out there and catch my own. So
yeah, it's fun. Well, I mean, you've got some awesome folks off in the California area. You don't have to go as remote. Like I said, like Trevor and some of the guys out there, Deadliest Cast. They'll go out there and get you on some real easy.
Heck yeah. So looking back on it now, could you it makes you appreciate your transition from where you were to having the ability to experience these things. Because
oh gosh,
I'm not to the level that I'm taking these trips yet with the magazine or the podcast, but I've already been experiencing local things that I normally would not be able to because of working at a dealership or things like that. So that's awesome that you got the ability and the opportunity to go do something like that.
Oh, the things that I've been able to experience in the last 2 years, I don't even know where to begin. You're thanking people for. Last year was our first trip to Niagara. They have an annual writers event that they put on in Niagara County in Lewiston, New York, upstate New York. We got invited to it for the first time last year, and that was my trip of the year, being up there on the lower Niagara. We got to do that again this year also. But yeah, this year, since March, I actually had a trip that didn't come to fruition in February, but since March, I've been out of town for 1 week, a month, every month up till now. From Wisconsin, getting to do the Canoecopia show. I didn't get to fish there. But got to go up to Maine, and then on to upstate New York, and then to British Columbia, and then of course ICAST. Orlando is always a ball. But yeah, nothing planned right now for August. We'll see what happens outside. Nothing planned except for my dog's gonna knock the computer table over here. Yeah, nothing planned except for my week trip to the New River in August so far.
Look forward to seeing those pictures. So, all right, we've hit the 1 hour mark. Is there anything you want to throw out there before we sign off?
I don't know, man. I feel like we could go. So hold on, Winnie, go. I feel like we barely scratched the surface here, man. I'm surprised an hour's gone by already, but
Ticks
yeah,
along.
yeah, we definitely have to, I guess, do it again and pick up where we left off. You know, we only talked about 2 or 3 of the products that we showed at ICAST out of the near 60 something. I know the original press release was 55, but once I broke everything down, assigned UPCs and SKU numbers and all that stuff, before it actually came out on paper over 65 SKUs, and the leverage landing net redo wasn't even on that list. The orange latch and hinge kit for the Black Pack Pro wasn't on that list. So yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff at the show there, but again, it's just
the lock on the leverage net. I was like, man, it's simple, but it's an awesome upgrade. Like it's
So that's actually something that was in the works pre-COVID. Gene Jensen has had that net hinge behind him, and any time that you can see that net behind Gene Jensen in any of his videos, whether he's talking about a lure or anything, he's had that net hinge for 5 years, and I don't know how people haven't caught on. Ask him what the heck it is, but they just haven't. But he got one of the original prototypes, and when COVID hit, initially they tried to shut down the plant, and we pivoted into making PPE, face masks and face shields and stuff for all that. So we kind of moved into that. And after all the COVID stuff settled down around the time that I came on board, it was nonstop just trying to fill the back orders where the orders originally stopped. People started canceling orders at COVID. And then they started double and triple ordering. So, I mean, it was all that literally put that on the back burner for years. But that's one I'm excited about. The tools are fun. Looking forward to playing with a lot of those things. The Kayak Care, the Kayak Candy line of Kayak Wash. I mean, it's just so much stuff came out of ICAST this year.
All right, we'll run a little long. Go through some lists of some things that you guys came out with.
Well, I kind of did, but so we had the short stack solos. We had the 4 different crossbar SKUs. We had the swing arm crossbar. We had the leveraged landing net redo. We had the motor. We had the 100 amp hour battery. We had a variety of tools. Again, the Kayak Candy Care stuff. The new coastal colors. The 2 new color lines. Bringing in that overcast gray that you've seen on the leaderboard for a while. And what we're calling Jetty Blue is actually a very close match to what people have been asking for the steel blue offered by Old Town and the Bonafide Kayaks. So that's going to be a great match for those. So, I mean, that's something else that, we haven't really covered, but it just a whole lot of stuff. And so I'm going to be a very, very busy bee over the next coming months, just to the writing portion, writing product description and taking white background photography and all that. But again, I can't take credit for everything. I don't do it all on my own. We have an awesome team again at YakAttack, from our e-com guys that help me build the web pages, and huge credit to our graphic designer, Brandon Caban, who's been on with us about 2 years now. I kind of say, hey, we need to do this, and kind of throw some ideas and a template out, and he rocks it out. I mean, the packaging you see on the cardboard boxes, that label, like he's responsible for that, and all the sticker of the month cool thing that we do every month. So I mean, again, I could never take credit for what we do at YakAttack, solely. It's one of the best teams I've ever worked with in my life. Just so many cool people that hopefully here in the future we can start, getting more people in front of the camera. I never wanted it to be the Wade show ever, but yeah, hopefully if I can get willing participants, you'll get more people in front of the camera and show just the market. I mean, that we're just a local group of folks that love what we do, and you work hard to try to make kayak fishing better.
I think you become the face of YakAttack. I don't think you're going to be able to break away from that. You're like, boom. I see at certain point, they're gonna have that silver beard on the packaging.
Serious.
It's silver beard approved.
Again, I never asked for it. I got stuck in front of a camera for, out of just lack of interest. I tried to push John in front of it as much as I could. But I'm grateful for everybody that supports me. If people hopped on there every day, it's like, oh, this guy sucks, I don't want to listen to him, I'd been done a long time ago. But people are very supportive, and I'm just blessed and one of the luckiest kayak anglers, out there in the country that just get to chase this passion and meet cool folks and do what I really enjoy doing. Not every day is a walk in the park, but I mean, there's a silver lining to every day, and I love working for YakAttack and, being the Ron Burgundy of kayak fishing, of YakAttack. Like, I get to bring people the news.
You do. Yes, you do. And I always see it pop up, and I'm like, what are they throwing out there that I need now? Oh, yep, I do. I need that. So awesome. Well, it was a great show, in my opinion. I think I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all the hard work that you and YakAttack do. I know with innovation always comes some speed bumps, and I think everyone's going to navigate those, and they're going to make their you're going to continue to make great products and make decisions that are going to innovate and change this sport. I know you are, because you do it every day. So I appreciate you coming on. And if there's anything else you got to throw out there before we go, if not, I'm going to put you in the background and say goodbye to everyone and come back to you.
Yeah, no, again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I know we bounced around on some different dates. I'm glad we finally got the opportunity to do this, and
yes,
appreciative and grateful for everybody watching, the comments here, all my friends over there chiming in. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully we can get out on the water soon. But until then, guys, make it yours.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm gonna put you in the back, and I'll be right with you. All right, everyone. That was episode 29, coincidentally, on the 29th. And that was Mr. Wade with YakAttack. I appreciate him coming on. Appreciate him taking the time out of his busy schedule to share some of the stuff they've done, learn a little bit about where he's from, what he's done, what he plans to do. I think that they're going to continue to do some great things. This episode was brought to you by Snake River Manufacturing. If you get an opportunity, please go to snakerivermanufacturing.us and check out all of the cool, innovative things that Steve and the crew are doing to innovate kayak trailers. Also, this is brought to you by Vibe. Go to vibekayaks.com and pick yourself up a throw and go, an inflatable, or maybe even a Shearwater 125, and go do some competition. This is also, if you're in the market for any kayak coffee, kayakcoffee.com has given us a Cafe 20 code for 20% off any coffee that you purchase. And if you want a coffee cup, you can go to Nico's Art Therapy on Facebook and purchase a coffee cup. If you do, all of the proceeds go to Nico and his therapy. So thank you all again, and I look forward to seeing